These are some of the most unbelievable NBA shots, starting from level 1 to level 100. At level 1, Kobe Bryant does something crazy. He passes the ball to himself and makes the shot. Who needs teammates when you're playing like Jamal Murray in 2016, just focused on scoring non-stop? Thanks to this play, even Joel Embiid stopped trusting the process. And now, let's watch Reggie Jackson take a shot that looks like he's throwing like a little kid. Bro almost lost his dignity, but hey, the basket still counted. At level 5, Ja Morant doesn't need to shoot like a kid. He can score with either hand. And now, he's found a third way to make his shots. That's just terrifying. But if level 15 is scary, level 20 takes it to a whole new level of disrespect. Somebody call 911. J.R. Smith just sucked the life out of Miami. And speaking of calling 911, I almost forgot to mention, as the levels go up, the shots get crazier. Coming up, one player hits a half-court buzzer beater, another drains a tough off-balance game winner, and Kyrie Irving nails one of the best shots you'll ever see. But before we get there, let's talk about the time Ja Morant looked like he had eyes in the back of his head. English might not be his first language, but he sure knows how to pull off a circus shot. As for Kyle Lowry, he doesn't have time for a spelling bee. He's too busy making plays like this. That buzzer beater was one of the most awkward shots ever. No wonder people call him BB Lowry. Come on, Lowry, focus. But speaking of buzzer beaters, the Clippers know all about them. Back in 2015, no defense could handle the deadly duo of Chris Paul and Blake Griffin, especially not the Denver Nuggets. Who knew Blake Griffin was secretly great at volleyball? But I bet you didn't know an NBA player could pull off something like this. Forget Stephen Curry and Iguodala. Give me George Hill. And if there's one player who can keep up with him, it's Anthony Simons. Just watch this. In a game of horse, Anthony Simons just handed everyone an H, everyone except Latrell Sprewell. But Sprewell gets it back, takes the shot, and scores with a smooth free throw. Just when you think you've seen it all, think again. Now that we're at level 50, it's time to raise the stakes. These shots are so ridiculous, so entertaining, and so magical that you won't be able to look away. It all begins with Luka Magic. We all remember his incredible performance against the New York Knicks, but what most of us don't realize is he's been pulling off magic for a while. On November 6, 2021, during a game between the Celtics and Mavericks, Luka pulled off the best trick of them all. Hitting a game winner with 3 defenders in your face? My man's on another planet. But Kobe Bryant? He's not just defying gravity, he's slowing down time too. With the drive, the spin, and the no-look shot, I don't even know where to start. But while Kobe was blowing everyone's mind, Tony Parker had his own plans. Spoiler alert, not even the Warriors could stop him. Anyone can make a lucky shot every now and then, but even if you combined all the lucky shots out there, I still don't think you'd beat Brandon Ingram. 1 second, he can't even pick up the ball, and the next, he's getting surrounded by the whole team. Wild, right? But it's not as wild as what happens at level 65. If there's one thing you're always told not to do, it's shoot with 2 hands. Lesson learned. It's Jazz's world, and we're all just living in it. But before Ja Morant took over, it was Russell Westbrook's world. Back in the 2012 playoffs, during a Game 5 between OKC and Kobe's Lakers, tied at 70-70, Westbrook made one of the best fast break plays in NBA history. On the other hand, Dwyane Wade deserves to be celebrating. What he did against the 2006 Pistons is something they'll never forget. With the game on the line, Dwyane Wade is definitely not the guy you want to leave open. The same goes for James Harden. On January 3, 2019, Harden's Rockets were facing the Warriors, trailing by 2 with one last chance to win. The only problem? Everyone knew Harden was taking the game winner, but then again, Harden didn't care. There's no denying it. My guy had their number, just like Stephen Curry has the Celtics' number. Even before he beat them in the finals or before he did the night-night celebration, he was pulling this off in the NBA bubble. This wasn't the only time Curry made the impossible look easy, not even close. Ja Morant can say whatever he wants about the Grizzlies' rivalry, but Curry was already dominating them before Ja even hit college. That said, there's one player who's everyone's nightmare. It's one thing to hear about Samson in the Bible, but it's another to see him up close. let alone play against him. He was so impressive. Even Taj Gibson could have taken over the Falcons' starting quarterback job. On the other hand, Kevin Durant is perfectly fine where he's at, because when he's healthy, there's no player on earth who can stop him. But back in 2014, the Grizzlies thought they had the last laugh. With just 18 seconds left, they had a comfortable 5-point lead, and to make it worse, it was in the playoffs. That's when KD said, "Hold my vehicle." Don't get me wrong, the Grizzlies won in overtime, but they learned a valuable lesson that day. Never count out the Slim Reaper. And you know what else you can't count out? Devin Booker. On August 4th, 2020, the Suns were battling the Clippers in the NBA bubble, and nobody expected the Suns to win. In fact, they barely even made it into the bubble. But the Suns didn't care. It just made them more determined to win. And sure enough, Devin Booker did the unthinkable. It was in that moment the entire NBA world realized Devin Booker was something special. But for level 96, we've got something even more incredible. The time Derrick Jones Jr. went airborne. After that shot, my man's fearless finisher badge just got upgraded to Hall of Fame. He put his body on the line, but there's a big difference between risking it all and going all out when the game's on the line. On April 14th, 2021, the Mavericks were inbounding the ball with less than 2 seconds left, and Luka knew he had to do something special. Which begs the question, is there anything Luka Doncic can't do? Well, I've got news for you, absolutely, because for these final 3 levels, it's all about the best of the best. And when we talk about the best ever, we have to rewind 20 years to June 14th, 1998. Game 6 of the finals between the Bulls and the Jazz, where Michael Jordan was just 1 win away from completing his second three-peat. Scratch that, 1 shot. The shot itself was extraordinary, but the pressure, especially for a legend like Michael Jordan, that's what made it impossible. But at level 99, it's time to combine both. An ultra-difficult shot with the pressure at an all-time high. The year was 2016, and the Warriors were coming off the greatest regular season in NBA history, 73-9. To top it off, they were even better in the postseason, especially during the NBA Finals against the Cavaliers. Just after 4 games, they were up 3-1, a deficit no team had ever come back from in the finals. But LeBron James wasn't about to let his home team go down. Little by little, the Cavaliers kept chipping away at the lead until finally the series was tied 3-3, with one final game to determine the NBA champions. That's when Kyrie Irving made the single biggest play in Cleveland's entire history. First, we have the man who went out on top, then Kobe Bryant retires, and now this is even harder to top than 2016. So it's only fitting that with just 1 level left, level 100, the moment also comes from 2016. The date was February 27th, 2016, a Saturday primetime game between the Warriors and OKC. With 2.7 seconds left in overtime, the score was tied 118 apiece, and Curry had the ball in his hands. But hold up, let's rewind, because make or miss, this was an historic performance. Steph had already scored 43 points and hit 11 three-pointers, putting him just 1 three-pointer away from the NBA single-game record when this happened. If this shot isn't the most impossible one, then I don't know what is. It wasn't just impossible, it changed the NBA. On this day, 2 things were born: the logo shot and Mike Breen's iconic double bang. But you know what's even better than the double bang call? When an announcer clowning Nick Claxton watches De'Aaron Fox turn into Steph Curry. And this was one NBA player's legendary performance. These are the 26 most ridiculous moments of this NBA season. If you're ridiculous enough not to watch, then next, Steph Curry is hitting the game winner against your favorite team.